9:30. Good morning, everybody. It's time to start our meeting. Welcome, everybody, and I hope everybody's doing well. Don't know what the weather is going to be like. Is it going to rain or not? Not important, but we need to have a meeting, and we need to do a Pledge of Allegiance. I think it is Steve Leonard's turn today.
No, it's Ellen.
Oh, me? Okay.
Ellen.
Oh, sorry, Ellen Leonard. My apology.
Okay.
My apologies, sorry.
Anybody?
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right. Acknowledgement of media. Is any media present? I don't know, but they're probably somewhere in the cloud, hanging around. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's do the approval of the agenda. Okay, Andy?
Oh, no, I want to amend the agenda.
But let's have a second first.
Okay.
Anybody? Second?
Second.
Thank you.
I want to amend the agenda.
Okay.
I want to remove item 12C.
C.
And that is for the recreation policy ad hoc. We have had many discussions about it, and there's been many discussions prior to me being chair, and I feel that we do not need an ad hoc at this moment.
So,
Do I have a second?
okay. Do we continue? Because I need to add one item to it. So,
Okay, so we're removing
What-
that one.
what is
So
the procedure?
are you, okay, so that one will be removed, and.
We need to vote?
Mike? Okay. You got 12C, right? Sorry about the no mic. Okay. And did you, okay.
Okay, what is the process? Do we need to take a vote, or do we have to move forward with something else? Yes, ma'am.
It's not clear if 12D, as in dog, is literally on there or not. Is it,
No.
is there a 12D?
We need to add it.
Yeah, that's been in a, Marie, that's been an addendum, so it was
So
added after.
it is on the agenda?
It is on the agenda,
Okay, I
yes.
move to remove it from the agenda.
I second.
Why would you do that?
I second.
Okay.
Could we, so did you guys vote for the removal of agenda item 12C first?
No,
Why don't
we
we
have
do
not.
that one first, and then we'll do 12D? So that way those are two separate votes.
Correct.
So
So-
I have a question on 12C for Ellen. What is your concern or objection to having the ad hoc committee?
We've had committees with presidents of clubs, with committee members, and we can work this out on the committee.
Well, I kind of support having a GRF ad hoc committee at this point because we're in budget, and there are lots of things that happen at the committee level which can be very contentious between the members from United and Third and Mutual 50. We only have 2 representatives on our GRF rec committee, and there are 5 non-GRF members. So I kind of like this thought about having an ad hoc committee, and I will leave my comment there.
Okay. Okay, you can be the chair of the ad hoc committee, okay? We do not discuss the financials there. It goes to finance right here, so you can ask Andy to do the ad hoc committee, but we have had many conversations, and we will ask legal for an opinion as well.
We're discussing 12C?
Yes.
Okay, at the agenda prep meeting, I recall that when we talked about this, that Ellen, who is the chair of the CAC, explained that this has been discussed and is being discussed and worked on. And then we happened to run into Maggie and Joan yesterday at the Robert's Rules of Order Club, okay? And they said, what? We did all that last year. So there's information that needs to be put together, but the main thing is, at the agenda prep meeting, the chairman here explained that and said, no, we do not want that on the agenda. So now it's on the agenda, and maybe there's a misunderstanding, but,
And we need to go to legal.
so that's that.
Oh.
Okay?
So you're saying it was brought up in agenda prep, it was discussed, and your recommendation was not to put it on today's agenda, and it was not supposed to be on today's agenda? Thank you.
Okay, then if you guys want to remove it, we'll vote on it and remove it. So, call the question. How many people in favor of removing? Okay, so we have more than a necessary vote. Can you take the vote from Brad, please?
Yeah, Brad, can you message me your vote? Motion to remove agenda item 12C has passed.
Okay, thank you. Now, the other item was to add 12D
No,
to
remove.
the I'm looking for a vote to add agenda item 12D to the agenda.
Yes. My reasons are that, number one, we believe it was, most of us didn't see it until Saturday or Sunday. And we believe that there is another appropriate way to handle this, because just to ratify the candidates themselves deciding who gets what place is a really bad precedent. So we need to either have another election, we need to consider this, have legal consider it. We shouldn't jump into ratifying it this morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Does everybody feel the same way?
Yeah, are we going to take a vote, or do you
no.
want to hear my?
Discussion, we're in discussion.
I just
Okay.
moved to remove it.
Well,
Yes, Helen?
okay, like Marie said, I believe there could be possibly some legal and procedural questions concerning the validity of the term exchange and the structure of the election ballot itself. So I agree with that, and having maybe a new.
We acted on the suggestion from our parliamentarian, Catherine Lester, and that's why this is here. If we need to talk this further, we could talk it at our closed meeting. So for now, we can put it off. Okay? All right?
So the motion, is,
So, yes, yes. So we need to vote on this one. So the question is, how many people?
President Bada, we do have legal counsel here if you want to inquire further about this before removing it from the agenda.
Okay.
I made a motion. There is a second. We can discuss that and then vote on it.
We are in that stage.
Brad?
Okay. Yes, Steve?
To my knowledge, we have not gotten a legal opinion as to what actually transpired at the election for the VMS directors. There was a lot of confusion, There was a recess. There were opinions brought forward. We asked for direction from Catherine Laster. Be that as it may, I agree with Ellen and with Marie that there may be legal issues involved here, and I don't think having this discussion in open is the appropriate place, and I would support not having this discussion today in open, but having it in closed with our attorney, and then considering putting it back on next month's agenda in open.
May I advise that this be discussion open session because the GRF special open meeting that occurred last week was also in open session. Therefore, it needs to be available for the public.
So, yes, Allison.
President, but I assume you introduced John Hanson, our new attorney, to the group?
I introduced him to most of you, but not yet. I haven't had a chance to get to my
Okay.
chair remarks.
Okay. Well, in any case, since we do have our counsel present, and this is a legal question, I don't know if John is in a position to having had time to review this or the documentation he needs to render a thoughtful opinion at this point, or whether we want to table it for another open meeting in the future. John?
My recommendation is that we table this temporarily, allow us to discuss it in executive session where I can provide legal advice, and then return back to an open meeting to make the decision, because it would be an open meeting decision, but I need to be able to advise the board and executive in order to, also to gain some more information as to what occurred. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, that would be good.
I
Yes.
would, on this basis, I would
Sorry? You do
table
what?
or hold back my motion and my second under this advisement. Would you do that?
If you table it, you don't need a second.
Oh, yeah, all I said was take it off. He's talking about what to do next. Yes, okay, let me make myself clear. All I was asking is that we remove it from the agenda at this open meeting. Then we do something. This is an excellent suggestion, and this is an excellent advisement for us what to do after that. So that's what we'll do.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out what we have decided. Thanks.
Thank
Thank you.
All right. So,
Okay, I had a motion, and she seconded it to remove the 12D.
okay, so do we need to do anything if you
Vote to
remove it?
Vote.
Do we need a vote for that?
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, how many people in favor of removing it? Okay, all right, so it's a majority vote, okay. Go ahead.
Martin has his hand raised.
Martin,
I don't see him.
I see Brad, I don't see Martin.
Yeah, let me add Martin right now.
Oh, there he is. Yes, Martin, you had your hand raised?
Just on what you were voting for.
Oh, in favor of?
Yes.
I'll answer it for you. The 12D,
No, he voted in favor.
oh, you voted in favor, thank you.
Do we need a vote from Brad?
I received his vote.
Okay, so,
And then if you guys could approve the agenda as amended, that'd be
Okay.
great.
Question is to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, we voted already.
Andy? Oh, sorry, Brad and Martin, they all voted. Very well. Moving forward. Approval of the minutes of the last two meetings, May 6th and May 15th. Looking for a,
I'll move
thank
to
you.
approve.
Thank you. Anybody second? Yes, Andy second, correct? Yes. Question is, do we approve it? Asking the
All
question.
in favor?
All in favor?
Voting?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we now come to the main question of comments of the chair. I just want to again welcome our new attorney, John Hanson. Thank you, John. He's been supposed to start, let me correct myself. He's supposed to start as of June 1, but he has been working with us even before that, and appreciate all the help that you've given us, and welcome. Thank you very much. John has met our executive team yesterday, and we had a good evening talking about several different topics. So he's up to date with many things. Next item on my list is Ting. Ting is our broadband provider, and we signed a contract with them, and they are going to start their shovels in the ground, as we usually call it in these kind of things, is June 9th. So be aware that you will be getting information to allow them to come into your units to be able to interchange the cable to the new fiber optic cables and the new equipment. So it's really exciting. It will be a good change, many upgrades, and I don't want to spend more time going through the details, but it is a fabulous change for the community. We are diligently working on the budget. Our team is paying a lot of attention to it and making sure that we do a good job and make it so that you will not have a difficult time to talk about it and think about it. That's about all I have for today, and let's move to the next item, and that would be the CEO's report.
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board, and our valued audience. This morning I want to highlight the recent Employee Excellence Awards. As many of you know, these are presented yearly in the spring and fall, recognizing outstanding employees who demonstrate excellent customer service, achieve great results on projects, and regularly go above and beyond their regular job duties. This spring's recipients are, from the Community Services Division, Jeff Spies, Community Services Manager, who made a seamless transition into management following the retirement of beloved Pamela Bashline, who is a 30-year veteran, reflecting his deep commitment to the division's continued success. Also, Angela Velasquez Gonzalez, Community Services Specialist, has made an incredible impact in just 1 year since her promotion from resident services, mastering leasing operations, streamlining processes, and training new staff. In the Communications Division, Jenning Lai, Communications Associate, has distinguished herself as a results-driven professional with a strong record of achievement, most notably for her outstanding work on the new community website. Susan Logan McCracken, Communications Associate, seamlessly stepped in to lead the Village Breeze, bringing focus, creativity, and consistency to one of our most important resident-facing publications. In the Financial Services Department, Blake LaFonte, Senior Financial Analyst, is an exemplary employee who ensures the budget process runs smoothly, cross-trains colleagues, and rigorously tests the ERP module to meet the unique needs of the village. Ainsley Sangalong, Payroll Supervisor, is a cornerstone of the payroll team, ultra-reliable, independent, and consistently contributing behind the scenes to enhance the payroll system. Kayla Abali, Payroll Specialist, has excelled in just 18 months, mastering new responsibilities and eagerly taking on additional tasks to support the department. From the Compliance Division, Daniel Magnuson and Carlos Ortiz are compliance inspectors who demonstrate exceptional attention to detail that supports a smooth, board-approved disciplinary process, while their professionalism and courtesy help bring cases into compliance. From our Social Services Division, Kathy Villafana administrative specialist goes above and beyond to ensure every interaction is handled with care, accuracy, and a positive attitude, consistently creating a welcoming, efficient experience for residents, families, staff, and vendors alike. From our Security Services Division, Melissa Avalos, Security Patrol Officer, demonstrates a strong work ethic, a commitment to learning, and a calm, effective presence while under pressure, most recently shown during a DUI stop and while de-escalating a tense incident with a homeless individual. Our Landscaping Services Department recognizes all the landscaping services foremen. Their names are listed on the screen before you. These gentlemen serve as the backbone of our operations with a combined 182 years of service to the community, leading from the front, working alongside their teams, meeting challenges head-on, and ensuring every task is completed with the highest standards of quality and safety. Landscaping Services also recognized Louis Barreto, Senior Sprayer Lead, who demonstrates exceptional dedication, professionalism, and leadership, consistently exceeding expectations and recently earning his QAL in categories A and B to further his professional growth. The Recreation and Special Events Department recognized Renee Anderson, Performing Arts Center Coordinator, who has done an outstanding job coordinating box office and front of the house operations at the Performing Arts Center and is now leading the implementation of the new box office software. Shun Ong, Recreation Coordinator, is an invaluable member of the department, bringing accuracy, attention to detail, and a calm, positive approach to every challenge, consistently earning praise from residents. In our General Services Department, Juvie Gonzalez, Vehicle Inventory Control Specialist, provides essential operational support to our mechanics, maintaining inventory, ordering parts, assisting vendors, and ensuring timely payments. Young Shik Chin is a part-time resident bus driver who is dedicated and always willing to go above and beyond. He has maintained a perfect safety record for 5 years and is beloved by residents for treating everyone with dignity, care, and respect. In maintenance and construction, Jose Ceja, Damage Restoration Supervisor, coordinates daily moisture intrusion events while skillfully mitigating complaints and disputes with responsiveness, attention to detail, and outstanding customer service and de-escalation skills. Jessica Lozada, Inspector 1 from Manor Alterations. After taking night classes to prepare for her advancement, she was promoted to Inspector 1 and quickly embraced a temporary assignment, learning the inspection process and training a new resales inspection after an unexpected resignation. In the Human Resources Department, Kimberly Camargo, HRS Coordinator, brings great heart to human resources, not just through the systems she manages, but in how she sees the people behind the data. Her dedication, warmth, and blend of precision and empathy inspire deep respect. An A-Team award went to the Human Resources Department, who comprise a small but mighty team that embodies the spirit of the Wizard of Oz, proving every day that we've always had the excellence, commitment, courage, and heart to face any and all challenges thrown their way. Please join me in congratulating these and the other outstanding VMS employees who serve our community every day.
Good job.
And I thank you for your time this morning. That concludes my update. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Congratulations to everybody. Great job. So we now come to the open forum. It's 3 minutes per speaker. You get to speak only once. I cannot give your time to another person. And do we have many speakers, Michaela?
Yes, we do. We have, I believe, 4 in person and then 1 email that I'll read after.
Okay.
But we'll start with the first one, Carmen Pacella.
Thank you. On behalf of my wife, Dorothy, Michelle, and I, we're owners in Unit 65E. We have a special thank you to all of your board members for your good volunteer work. As residents of this remarkable community, we all benefit from the dedication of those who serve on our 5 governing boards. These boards make critical decisions that shape our daily lives, from budgets to amenities to long-term planning. As you know, we are in the general election cycle to select new mutual board directors. We can help by encouraging more volunteers to run for these positions. A few residents and former board directors, committee members, advisors have arranged a village-wide town hall meeting to encourage and assist volunteers to run for these positions. So please join us for a village-wide town hall meeting at 10 a.m. to noon on Wednesday, June 18th at the PAC. This gathering is a crucial opportunity for all of us to understand the decisions that will shape the future of our community. This town hall will provide valuable insight into how decisions are made, and more importantly, how residents can contribute to these decisions. We need to make sure that all voices are heard. We urge all residents, directors, committee members, advisors of all mutuals, and all governing boards to attend and take part in this important meeting. The strength and future of our community depends on everyone's involvement. We have flyers. I'm not going to pass the flyers out, but if you want one, you can pick one up from my wife. We thank you for your time, and we're sincerely appreciative of all your efforts that you all put into this effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Philip Chait.
Hi there, everyone. Thank you for your time. I am the president of the Bocce Club. And the reason I'm here is the bocce courts have not been replaced in about 5 years, and they're in pretty bad shape. We've had 6 people fall over the last 2 years. I can't say they were all because of the rips and stuff in the courts, but at least 3 of them were. And because of this, in fact, my club and the board, we bought our own liability insurance just to protect ourselves in case of a lawsuit. And it cost us $3,700, which is what we typically would give to charity, but we had to spend it to protect ourselves in case we were sued. And we didn't, we're volunteers here, so we didn't want to be out thousands of dollars protecting ourselves. The money has been allocated for the courts. It was like $5,000 or $6,000. It was then discovered that the boards around it had to also be replaced at the same time, which aren't that expensive. I'm just saying, by delaying this, I know we can repair it. It's a temporary fix. I know by delaying it, though, you're running the risk of someone falling and suing the GRF, and trust me, that'll be a lot more expensive than fixing the courts where the money already has been allocated. So all I'm asking for is the time frame to be moved up to replace the courts. I mean, the money's allocated, it's there, you have it. I don't know exactly how you do it, but you have the money, and I just don't see why, for you, it's a good decision to wait rather than do it now, because you're running the risk. If something happens, 2 weeks from now when you could have maybe done it, and you get sued for $100,000, you'll wish you would have. So that's my point. I just want to bring that up against everyone's attention, that I fully believe for the bocce court, we have 300 members, 40 active players. If we can get them replaced sooner rather than later, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for something that wasn't allocated already or approved. Just asking for the time frame to be moved up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get all the speakers and then answer them together.
Yeah, thank you.
Next speaker is Cheryl Nelson.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Nelson. I'm in 528A, and the reason I'm here is because I'd written a letter to the board about why we don't have dog parks within the gates. We have a newer puppy. Didn't plan on that, but we do. So we took him over to the dog park that Laguna Woods provides. And when I pulled up, there was a lady in a walker with 2 dogs on leashes trying to get to the gate, which we have now paced off at about 500 feet from the first handicapped parking spot. Excuse me. The dogs were pulling on her. They were pulling on the leashes. So the first concern was it runs along an open road with no containment at all. And then it takes that long to get to the gate. So I realized the next few times that I went that there's pretty much only the able-bodied, smaller dogs coming to the park because it's just too hard to get them there. So I don't know why we couldn't put something inside the gates in maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 strategic areas throughout the village. You could put hours on it to appease people who would complain about the barking. There's a lot of things you could do. I was part of a group in my other resort with an HOA to get a dog park approved. I think it's necessary. I mean, we're on a busy corner on Cali Aragon, and we see people walking every morning, and there's all sizes of dogs and all types of people walking them. And I think a lot of the people that I see couldn't even get their dog in the car to begin with, much less get them to the park safely. So I would hope that you guys would maybe take the time to look into this, see if it's viable. I don't know why it isn't. We have an awful lot of green space. It could be a big area that could be replaced with, I don't know, pea gravel or turf or whatever, and then they would have the mowing problems inside. There's lots of things to consider, and I just hope you take the time to consider them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Final in-person speaker is Jim Ropo.
Good morning, everyone. Jim Rappo, 51B. On the afternoon of May the 7th, I attended the Mobility and Vehicles Committee meeting. It was held here in this room. The room was packed with residents, and many of those residents spoke that day about their concerns about the future of bus transportation in the village. I came away with 3 main points. Number 1, people largely, at least from that group, bought their manners with the hope that bus transportation would continue. They either needed it at that point or they anticipated needing it in the future. Number 2, this is the amenity that group of people, the vulnerable group I call them, use. They don't get on the bus and take their golf clubs and go and play golf. They use the bus to go to the grocery store and to go to medical appointments for the most part. That's point number 2. Number 3, we all know we have many amenities in the village. But I want to remind you that at least that group, and I hope you too, consider transportation an essential amenity for these folks. These are people who don't see or see well. These are people who maybe don't hear well. And these are people that have mobility issues. I hear from time to time, oh, I see a bus go by and there are only 2 people on it. Well, I have a friend who rides the bus every day. She has eye issues. And on Friday, she told me, yes, there are times when there are only 2 people on the bus. But on Friday, she got on the bus, and there were 9 people on there. 2 in wheelchairs, 3 with walkers, and 4 more other people. 1 was her, so that's an eye issue. So sometimes you have to understand that Journey and the fixed route bus system are 2 separate systems. Journey is really not, in my opinion, set up for a busload of people. Journey picks you up at your manor and takes you to perhaps your medical appointment somewhere. And if somebody else fits into that same kind of a schedule of where the bus is taking them and the time that it's taking them, then they can get on that bus too. Journey used to operate with vans, but it doesn't seem to do that anymore. And I just wonder why that is. So I'm asking you today, if and when changes are made to the transportation system, I sincerely hope that the residents will have ample opportunity to address those changes before they're put in place.
Mr. Rocco?
Yes, sir.
You are out of time.
Okay.
We appreciate your comments,
Okay.
and we will react accordingly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have one email. It's from Chris Collins regarding the foundation report. This foundation, the foundation of Laguna Woods Village, chosen as a 2025 California Nonprofit of the Year by Assemblywoman Diane Dixon. The foundation of Laguna Woods Village is proud to announce that. The foundation is one of more than 100 nonprofits that will be honored by their state senators and assembly members for their outstanding contributions to the communities they serve. Since its start 28 years ago, the foundation is the village's very own charity and steps in to provide temporary financial assistance to residents facing a financial challenge. Working with the village social services staff, assistance is confidential and limited to residents. In addition, the foundation provides funding toward Meals on Wheels, Alzheimer's daycare, transportation to the food pantry, emergency response devices, and most recently, hearing aids. Most recently, it is also mounting a public education effort on emergency preparedness. In quote, the foundation's ability to continue as a resource, end quote, according to foundation's president, Marcy Sheenwood, is a tribute to the village who has sustained it over the years. Individual and club donations have ensured that help is available for our neighbors. Being chosen as a 2025 nonprofit by Assemblywoman Dixon is a tribute to the whole village. We are grateful for the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village and want to extend our congratulations for this well-deserved recognition, said Geoff Green, CEO of the California Association of Nonprofits, the sponsor for this initiative. Nonprofits provide critical services, advocate for our most vulnerable neighbors, and enrich the lives of all Californians. From the child care program to the soccer team, from the art class to the health clinic, and from the community organizer to the animal shelters, nonprofits make our community strong. Now in its 10th year, the California Nonprofit of the Year initiative provides the opportunity for each California state legislator to recognize a nonprofit organization doing outstanding work in their district. The program culminates with a celebratory luncheon at the Capitol on California Nonprofits Day, which this year is May 21st. The program is sponsored by the Cal Nonprofits in partnership with the State Senate and Assembly Select Committees on the nonprofit sector. Cal Nonprofits, the leading policy voice for California's nonprofit sector, focuses on advocacy, education, and research to build a more powerful and politically engaged nonprofit network across the state. And that is all from Chris Collins.
Thank you. Is that the end of?
Yes, that is it.
Okay. So next item is to respond to the open forum speakers.
Oh, okay. I just
So,
want to make sure.
Yes, I won't forget that. Ellen, thank you for your reminder. The first person who spoke was Carmen and Dorothy Coachella. And thank you for organizing the town hall. I would recommend everybody should attend. And do you need to talk about that, Ellen, or is that the next one?
No, I think that's great, okay?
Okay,
We need that kind of service.
very good, thank you. Next item was Mr. Philip Che regarding the bocce ball. Bocce ball, yes. So, you want to talk about that?
Yes, I want to talk
Okay.
about that. I'm chair of the CAC, and I viewed the courts with Marie. We both viewed them. If there are threats of a lawsuit, I'm of the opinion we close it down until we figure out what we're going to do. There is money set aside to do some things, but things don't happen overnight. They did glue down some of the surface. I also heard that there's somebody in a wheelchair. However, I don't know how they get their wheelchair down to the court. But somebody in a wheelchair using the court, and it has ripped some of the felt surface. As far as the liability insurance, that is what you do when you have a club. Directors and officers usually get liability, so that is nothing new. So I'd like to take this to the CAC and to Recreation, but I believe this is the second time I've heard the word sue, and I will recommend to close the courts until it's there's a decision. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Martin?
Yeah, I communicated with Paul and with Allison. Allison, can you shed some light on, I know Dan Yost has been out there to take a look at it and talk a little bit about what's going on and when you think that they can get into it. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, we initially had a capital for $6,000 to replace the surface only of the courts. When we went in to replace it, we noticed there was damage to the side rails and the backboards. We don't have enough money to support that. We have had our M&C workers out there to get quotes to see what that costs, to see if we can do the replacements this fiscal year. If not, you may have noticed we have a 2026 capital for a more extensive repair of those courts. We have since had risk management out a few times to inspect the courts. They have not recommended that we shut them down. They did recommend that we glue the surface as it comes loose, and we have done that a few times now. We have one record, one documented case of a fall at the facility. I'm not saying there haven't been other cases of falls, but they have not been documented with security if that's the case. So we should be getting those quotes back sometime this week, I'm hoping, and we can figure out if we can move forward with our 2025 budget with replacing that.
Yes, Marie?
Could we have Philip come back up? Are you still here, Philip?
He left.
He left, okay.
No, Paul,
All right.
he left the room. I sent him a text. I said, get back in here.
Who is that?
Well, I'll just put, you
Okay.
possibly know. When we viewed these this weekend, we agree that the felt, and I agree that that is a danger, but those boards on the side, I'd like to have somebody, maybe Martin, take a look at them, because to us, the boards look like they needed painting.
So they are rotting behind the wood. You can't really notice it
Yeah.
visible to the eye, but they have been inspected by our maintenance and
Yeah.
construction department, and they do need to be replaced. So,
But unpainted boards shouldn't be a tripping hazard.
and I don't believe that's the tripping hazard.
Okay.
The concern
Just the
they're raising
carpeting.
is with the carpet surface, and I believe it's one of the three courts that is worse off than
I'll
the
get over
others.
that.
But
So with the money that we have, we have 6,000? Okay. With the money that we have, how's the most expeditious way to get maybe two of them in good shape and haul off the other one until we get some more money? What do you think?
So again, we don't want to replace that surface because it'd be a waste. We'd have to tear it up again when we replace the sideboards and the backboards.
So we need to keep it closed
would not
until
make
we can get the money.
financial
All right,
sense.
so how's the most expeditious way to get it done?
Again, we're waiting for the quotes to see if the money is within reach to fix it. We will do it as soon as possible.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm no expert that I can comment on it, so we can ask Brad, who is the MNC chair, if he has any comment, and
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I asked M&C to go out and take a look at the bocce ball courts. I think we're looking at gluing down the surface, but we're also looking at accelerating the funding that we had scheduled for this year and next year to replace the boards and replace the surface. That's what we're waiting to get quotes on. My expectation is it's probably going to be, this is a guess, somewhere under $25,000, and we do have contingency funds that we could use to do the repair and renovation of the bocce ball courts once we get the bids back. But right now, at least two of the courts should be functional and fine. The third one, they were going to look at gluing down the surface, and if that was adequate, to leave it open. If not, then they were just going to close the one court and work with two. But I believe they were able to get the third court into a functional situation now. So all three should be as safe as they have been historically, and we are looking at upgrading that.
anybody else? Yes?
Yeah,
there you
so
go.
I used to be part of the club, so out of interest, I went and looked at it and agree with all of the assessments. But along with Ellen, I'm curious how a person with a wheelchair gets down into those courts, because you have to go down two different places, and it just doesn't seem like, unless somebody's carrying the wheelchair in and out. And if the wheelchair caused the damage, then we're going to have them stop doing that. But we will accelerate it. It's not much money. It's not a problem.
Yes, Marie?
Okay, so now that this board and everyone is aware of the danger, I strongly suggest that you close it until they're fixed.
That's right.
That's coming from the personal injury lawyer.
Okay, I agree. I agree, and especially with the talk about lawsuits.
Martin?
Yeah, well, with Dan Yost coming out there and taking a look at it, and staff coming out there, and their assessment has resulted that they don't believe that it needs to be shut down, I have to take that into strong consideration.
I suggest that view is from people who kind of think it's okay, and, but I'm talking about lawsuits and money and people having knowledge ahead of time that it is dangerous. If we hadn't had that, might have had a chance. But now that we have that, we do not have a chance.
We close that.
Yes, Steve.
This is not an agenda item, so I don't think anyone's going to make a motion and get a second. We're going to solve anything here today. Having it have been raised today as a legal issue, perhaps we can discuss this in our closed meeting this afternoon, since Mr. Hanson is here, and he can give us his opinion. We already have staff's opinion, but they don't think we have to close it. But on that, I would like to speak to Mr. Rappo
Mr.?
on the buses.
About the buses, yes.
Yes. So unfortunately, our chair of M&V is not here today, Gary Durst. He is somewhere in Europe, sailing on a river.
Yes.
However, prior to Gary being chair, I was chair of M&V earlier this year. This is a very complicated subject, and it's a third rail for the community. However, I would like to, for the record, go on and make people aware of things they may not be aware of. The City of Laguna Woods has a senior mobility program. It is extensive. They spend a lot of money every year. I've personally recently met with the city manager, and he informs me that in the last 18 months, the taxi service under city mobility has provided over 18,000 trips under 10 miles. Over 10 miles, it's been 7,500 trips. What many people claim not to know is that if you are disabled and you need special transportation, the yellow taxi, which is this part of this senior mobility program, is required by law to accommodate your needs. So if you have a doctor's appointment or some other issue and you need handicap vehicles and transportation, you call as far in advance as practicable, like a day or two before, and you can make those arrangements. And the cost of that ride, if it's within 10 miles, the new rate is going up to $8 per ride. Additionally, when it comes to disabled and handicap, there is the Age Well service, which provides rides for, I believe they're $2. So if someone is disabled, that is available to them as well. The senior mobility program now has close to 7,000 enrollees. Every city in the Orange County participates in a senior mobility program. They get monies from a 0.25% sales tax under the M50. We spend $1.75 million a year providing bus service. Journey has 265 users. Boost has 437 users. And the general number of riders is 1,256. So if you add all that up, we provide transportation to around 2,000 people for almost $2 million a year. And there are other entities that provide the same service. This is why we're having the conversations and looking so seriously at our transportation needs, because it's not like there are no other alternatives which are reasonable and available. So I just wanted to speak to some of those numbers so that people are aware of that, because I know many people are not. And this is certainly available, the handout flyer from the city. The new enrollment period starts, I believe, July 1st. And all that's required is you go down to City Hall and enroll. You take your card down that shows you're a Laguna Woods resident. And they do not charge for enrollment, and that card is good for 2 years. I never used the service until recently, and I have to say it was absolutely wonderful to be able to take a taxi all the way down to San Juan Capistrano for $8 to pick up my car from the shop. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
You can add OCTA to it also.
Yes,
and
Octa also
and that
has-
costs like $3 or $3.50 per ride. And that's pretty easy. You got to just enroll yourself at OCTA. They take an interview and set you up. Yes, Martin.
I don't have much confidence in the city cab program. I used them once, and it was a near disaster. They needed to ride to the airport. They were 10 minutes late. Let me finish. And called them back. Where is it? Where's my cab? Oh, we lost your reservation. I thought, and here I got a flight to catch. And thank goodness I allowed for extra time. They made a new reservation. The guy ended up being a half hour late, barely made my flight. I have low confidence. I need to try them again. I need to build my confidence again in them, and I'm willing to do that, but just beware.
Martin, not the right venue for this conversation. I used it yesterday, and I use it regularly. I just bought a new car, but before that we had one car between two of us, and we constantly use this taxi service. And it has always been available and on time, sometimes early. Yeah, I agree, but you're making them nervous by saying that.
They need to know the truth.
Okay. Anyway, next item on the... But just to make you understand, sir, Mr. Rocco, I think, Rocco, that we are working on this. We're not going to abandon this bus service overnight. And definitely it will either be better or same, but not worse. So please be assured of that. Next item, I think, the next one was Chris Collins, I think. And always thank you, Chris, for all the good information you send us. And it's good for our community. And thank you all at the foundation for working so hard for the residents. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the dog park issue. And is there somebody who wants to talk about the dog park issue?
I will.
You want to? Yes?
I would suggest that the residents of the individual mutuals, both at United and Third, take it up with their boards to make use of their open common areas in that regard. I don't really think it's a GRF issue at that point. Having lived in United for many years, there is a lot of open space in United. There is also the same in Third, so I would encourage you to go to your boards and see if they can do something in that regard for you. Thank you.
Good idea, thank you. Yes. So with that, if we can move forward, is that... Did we answer all the questions? So next is the consent calendar. In the consent calendar, the items that are on the list, we get approved by one vote. So I ask for a...
I'll move the motion.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? What's your vote? Yes, okay. Thank you. So next item is the unfinished business. Item 11A.
Committee assignments.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, committee assignments.
Which one is that now?
10B. 10B.
But that was part of the consent calendar.
Yeah, but we got to go through the committee assignments.
That was part of the consent calendar. We just approved it.
We just approved the consent calendar.
Okay, so you,
But there are some errors in the thing that we will bring up to your attention.
do we need to read the changes to the committee?
No, you just approved the consent calendar as a whole, which
Yes.
the board just
Including
did.
the committee,
Yes.
assignment.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Yes, sir.
Philip shared it back in the room in case Martin wants to say something. Okay.
Okay. Unfinished business. So the next item, number A, 11A, is the entertain a motion to approve box office software transactions and credit card fees to be absorbed by the ticket purchasers or clubs. The May initial notification, 28-day notification for members' review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. So I'm looking for a vote to approve
We
this.
need to read it, the
Oh,
resolution.
yes, you need to read it. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Appreciate it.
Resolution 90,
Excuse me. If I may, my understanding is that we do not need to read the resolution again because the resolution has not been modified since it was voted on in the last session. So all we need to do is take a vote to approve it.
All right. Is that okay with the staff on this one?
Yeah, that's not a problem at
Okay.
all.
So let's vote on that.
Wait, can I have a comment about it? We talked about it in Allison's office, Kush. I just want I want to make everybody aware that the ticket fee is going to go up $2, and that $1.25 will be used for supplies, and also there will be that includes paying for staff. So I want to make sure I have that correct. Do I, Allison?
That's probably part of the,
$1.25, $2.75 for software, and $1.25 for ticket transaction fees and box office
Yes.
staffing. So some of that will be going to staff. Okay. All right.
all right.
Thank you.
So I'll move the motion.
Thank you, Steve. Allison seconds. All in favor? Please vote. Okay. Motion carries, I think. Next item is entertain a motion to approve revised purchasing policy, May initial notification, 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied.
I will move the motion.
Thank you, Steve. Anybody? Seconds? Thank you, Allison. All in favor? Okay. Seems like,
You voting?
oh, sure.
thank you. All right. So new business. Entertain a motion to approve parking rate change for DC electric vehicles charging stations at community center, June initial notification, 28-day notification for members, review and comments. comply with Civil Code 4360. This is for parking meters. Not parking meters, my apology, for the EV charging. Looking for a motion to move this forward.
Does he need to read the
He needs to read the resolution. It's new business.
It's
Okay.
new business, yes.
Resolution 90-25-XX, parking rates for electric vehicle charging stations. Whereas the GRF Board recognizes the need to amend the parking rate for Level 3 electric vehicle charging stations as necessary, and whereas GRF owns and operates 3 Level 3 EV charging stations located at the community center with dedicated parking spaces, and whereas all charging stations are available to both members and non-members, and whereas the GRF Board adopted current pricing schedule on August 6, 2024, but they left the parking rates unchanged, and now therefore be it resolved, July 1, 2025, the Board hereby approves following parking rates for Level 3 electricity vehicle charging stations applicable to both members and non-members, effective upon adoption of this resolution. Level 2 chargers, $2 per hour after 4 hours. Level 3 chargers, 60 cents per minute after a 10-minute grace period. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. June, initial notification. Should the Board endorse the proposed revisions, staff recommends that the motion be made and seconded to accept the resolution and to allow discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the Board. Staff then recommends that the Board members postpone the resolution until the next available meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I offer this resolution.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? No? You do? Martin?
I have a question. Who will be enforcing this?
The staff?
Everyone who uses the ChargePoint chargers is a customer of ChargePoint, or they use electronic payment methods through their phones. So ChargePoint collects the money, and they turn the money over to us on a monthly basis.
So there's no security involved?
No.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Thank you.
But this will be set up by ChargePoint or our staff?
We just, know after, at the
approve.
next board meeting, assuming it is passed, then staff will notify ChargePoint that we have modified our fee structure.
So
And
they
it will
will
go
make-
into effect immediately.
They will make the changes?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, I call the question to vote. All in favor? Okay. Motion carries. Okay. The next item is discussion of smart card, oral discussion by Chuck Holland.
Take notes. Take notes.
Yes, please.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. Appreciate the opportunity to present in regard to our smart card system that we have in place. Director Leonard, no need to take notes. This meeting is being recorded, so you can refer it on Granicus after the meeting.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Chuck Holland. I'm the Information Services Director here at Laguna Woods Village. And I want to take the opportunity to first and foremost is to introduce the smart card system that we already have in place. The current system we have in place is called AMEG Symmetry. That product has been in that service, and that product has been in business since 2006. There are 30,000 installs globally in 90 different countries across the world. We are in very good company with this enterprise level security system we have right now. One of the main reasons why we picked this solution is because it's the same solution that they use at LAX. So it's robust, it's scalable, and it's secure. So it's really important to note that we don't have a dumb card system. We do have a smart card system. So I just wanted to kind of put that into perspective. The next thing I want to do is just talk about, okay, where do we use the smart card system? We use a smart card system in about 35 different access points throughout the community. The vast majority of those, not the vast majority, but the good majority of those are here, right here in the community center. Every single door on the first floor is secured after hours with the smart card system. This boardroom is secured with the smart card system, as well as all the entryways to the second floor, and the elevator all has a smart card system. We also use that system at the pedestrian gates over by San Sebastian, as well as the Lutheran Church. You have an access point to get out, and you have an access point to get in. Right? We also have an access point at Clubhouse 5, RV Lot A, RV Lot B, the tennis courts, and sometime soon, the pickleball courts as well. So the system that we have right now, we take in about 27,000 card swipes per month. About 80% of those are here in the community center, right? So the rest of them are out there at the tennis courts and at the pedestrian gates. This system is budgeted for as part of our 30-year capital plan. Every 8 years, there are funds in the budget to replace this system, or not really replace, but to upgrade the system, so we're making sure that we're keeping up to date. Currently, we have about 18,000 cards in circulations, and those cards come in a couple different formats. Any card that was issued before 2017 is a mag stripe card, and we're replacing those as we can. Any card that was issued from 2017 going forward is a proximity card. That proximity card is an RFID reader. So it's a contactless type of card that you can walk up to any of these access points and just wave your card in front of it without having to swipe it in, right? So in regards to how can we expand this out, keep in mind AMAG security system, it's designed for security access control. Each one of these access points, you have the card swipe reader, right? You have the mechanical components in the door that lock. You have the copper wiring and cabling and internet connection that runs back to a controller, and then that controller is connected to the internet, right? So yes, it's very possible for us to expand this system out to track clubhouse utilizations, but that's a very expensive proposition to track utilization when this is a security access system. So Kush came to me, Director Botta, came to me a couple of months or so ago and said, hey, what are some other options whereby at the recreation facilities we can start tracking access so we can see utilization and how these amenities are being utilized. We've since come up with a prototype model that we could utilize that would be a much less costly solution than using this card swipe access, is we would use a modified solution that what you see at the resident services check-in. We have a kiosk at the front check-in, right? And so it would be something very similar to that. We have a prototype set up right out here in Manor Alterations, where it's a Apple iPad that's encased in a lock case mounted on the wall. So if I'm a resident and I want to be able to check in the facility, I would just go up there, punch my Manor name in, punch my Manor number in there, and then select my name, and then we're able to pull those metrics. I can get that done maybe $300 or $400 per location. Now, if you want to put a smart card access point on some of these areas, without really specifically just to track access or tracks utilization, that's a very expensive proposition. When you start taking a look at all the mechanicals, the software licensing, the cabling, the wiring, the internet access, you're talking about thousands of dollars per door. Now, we could absolutely make that happen for you, but I was hoping maybe that we could do something a little bit more cost-effective by using tablet-type technology based on Wi-Fi technology without having to run all the cable to track utilization. That way we have a centralized point where all those check-ins are coming in, all that data comes into a centralized database, we can run reports on it and then provide that to you monthly. So with that being the case, I'm here to answer any questions, give you guys any demos, and I really encourage you to take a look at the prototype over at the Manor Alterations.
Thank you. Yes, Martin.
Yeah, Chuck, how does the AMAG symmetry differ from the barcode process that they use like at the fitness center? We take our ID card and it's that barcode that scans us in. How's that?
I don't know. No, at the fitness center, they have a card swipe reader down there. It's an older generation technology they utilize just to track that gym.
Well, it's a barcode reader.
Mm-hmm.
So, but So I'm just wondering, are they integrated, or is it
No,
a totally
that's-
different database?
Yep, that system for the check-in for the gym, it's a totally separate, independent system, correct?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Chuck, as
Yep.
always. When you said it would cost thousands of dollars for Swipe to be able to, is that $2,000? Is that $9,000? Just,
Probably about 2,500 to 3,000 per door.
okay, 2,500 to
Right,
3,000.
because each door, there's an 8-panel controller where you can hook 8 doors up to it, and there's a 4-panel controller. Those controllers are pretty expensive.
Okay. And then my second question is, when you speak of having Wi-Fi enabled tablets, as you gave the example, hypothetical, I go to Clubhouse One and I want to use the gym, and there is a tablet out there, and I just don't bother to check in. I just walk into the gym and use the gym. How reliable would it be? Because people would just bypass, unless there were locked doors that had to be opened, which now we're back to the expense of.
Right.
Could you comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. He brings up a very good point. Just because you put tablet devices for people to check in at all the facilities doesn't mean that they're going to do that. Right now, we have usually it's a recreation age, and you have a sign-in sheet. And so they're managing that, making sure that everybody comes into the door that use that sign-in sheet. Absolutely. So if you wanted to go to tablets and then have those rec aids not be there for cost savings and efficiency standpoint, if nobody's monitoring it, you're going to have a real big problem. So the only way to really secure that facility is you lock all the access points and you force everybody to use the card. That way you can prevent that. But I have to tell you, it's very possible, but it's going to be very expensive.
And that's more of a security protocol
Right.
in that example rather than
Right.
monitoring usage.
Yeah, utilization.
Thank
The original point of this was to be able to see how many people are using Clubhouse One. Well, right now we have sign-in sheets, and somebody's got to go look at it. It'd be much nicer and more efficient and modern to have people go and check those in. But you're right. You're still going to have somebody there making sure everybody's using the system appropriately.
Anyway, yes, Alan.
Hi, Chuck.
Hey.
So lock the access points, but if, like bocce ball,
Yeah.
you couldn't do it there, you'd have to do the kiosk, correct?
Well, you would, in order for you to lock down something like that, you'd have to do something very similar to what we did at the tennis courts. You'd have to secure and harden the facility and then put an access point on there, which is even a more expensive operation. Now, if you start talking about, adding gates, right, to a facility that doesn't have any, then you're talking about something wildly expensive.
So
But that solution, the tablet-based solution, would work at the bocce ball court, but somebody's got to monitor, make sure people are utilizing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the pools, we could do it because the pools are locked, and it could be done, but that would be the more expensive.
Yeah, and I can think one, in particularly the pools would be a perfect example of that's a great exercise. That would be worthwhile to invest in to lock, to use the card access system, because it's an access control point that already has the hardware that's there.
Anybody else? Yes, Mo.
Yeah, is this going to use our ID system we have now, or is it going to be a new IDs?
No, this would be the same ID card system now, correct?
Same ID.
Safe, yep.
Now, what about entering on the gates? Can we use this at the gate also?
Well, right now for the gates, you don't. If you don't have an RFID on your vehicle, then you would just utilize the gate. You just show your ID at the gate. Absolutely, you can have a card swipe system at the gate, or more often, we really encourage residents to put an RFID on their vehicle, so when they go through the lane, then it's a secured access point there. Yeah, it would take too long to scan everybody in. We're doing about 10 million entries per year, so it'd be tough to scan everybody in.
Anybody else have a question? Yes, Andy.
Hi, Chuck.
Hey, how you doing?
Emeritus program.
Yes.
We have people coming in that don't live here, non-residents.
Yep.
With any kind of, intelligent card system, we could control that. I mean, we could designate that they are permitted certain places only.
Yes, well, we have a pretty robust system in place right now. We have a program called Dwelling Alive. We charge, I think it's about $25 per pass for the emeritus, and we give them a barcoded printed pass, so they can go into the gates only, and they're scanned in, so we know where they're at. But that barcode does not give them access to any other facility.
So when they get to the facility in the village where the class is being held, the teacher lets them in. I mean, well, there's no, like Clubhouse 4, you don't have card readers on the doors. You
Right.
just walk in.
Right, yeah.
It's getting through the gate.
Yeah, you get into the gate. Now, you bring up a very good point. Trying to collect your facility information from a place like Clubhouse 4, there's probably about 15 different doors in there. So you're talking about, do you really want to put 15 different card swipes out there, or even 15 different tablets? So more thought needed on that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
How about, when we enter the golf course, there's no RFID there? It doesn't work.
Yeah, they're at gate 12. There is no gates over there, right? It's you just drive through, right?
Yeah.
That's the gate ambassador.
Yeah, you have to show your ID to the gate ambassador.
So-
And the reason why we didn't put gate access control arms there is because from the main road, Moulton Parkway, there's not enough room up to stack traffic. So it's a very challenging proposition to put gate arms there. So we've kept the gate ambassadors out there to check IDs. Yeah.
Okay. Chuck?
Yeah, thank you very much for
as
your time. I
always,
really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. So with that, I think we are down to so we don't have 12C or 12D. So 13 is board will take a 5-minute break. Okay. So
Sorry I was late. My apologies.
it's okay.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Me too. Is it your fault? Is it your fault? I have one too.
Oh, you too?
Yeah.
I have some clothes in my Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put a sheet down, plastic sheet over this stuff, along with the
Okay, Egon, may we continue?
Thank you, Egon.
Thank you, everybody. Marie?
We got a quorum.
Okay, we have quorum, we can continue. Report of the Finance Committee, Andy?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'll be reporting on the April results. The Finance Committee met on April 16th, and we talked about, actually at that time we had March results, but now we have April. Our next meeting for the Finance Committee, and I encourage you all to attend, is June 18th at 1:30 p.m. in this boardroom. And you can also see it online. All right, the Treasurer's Report. Slide number 1. This table includes all revenues and expenses for operating reserves and restricted funds. Through the reporting period of April 30th, 4 months, GRF had net revenue of roughly $1.0 million, with a total revenue gross of $17.6 million and total expenses gross of $16.6. GRF was worse than budget by $243,000, revenue worse than budget by $939,000, combined with total expense coming in better than budget by $696,000. So expense is good, revenue bad. We got to work on that. Let's go on next slide. Next table displays the operating fund activities, which excludes non-operating revenues, expenses, and depreciation. This report shows a favorable variance of $173,000 through April 30th, with total expenses better than budget by $583,000, combined with non-assessment revenue worse than budget by $410,000. So they're pretty much offsetting each other. Let's go on to slide 3. This slide shows our most significant operating fund variances by category, with green bars, or really items on the right, representing favorable variance to the budget, and orange bars, the left side bars, representing unfavorable items. For the favorable items, we'd like to highlight employee comp and related was favorable by $474,000, primarily due to various open positions in general services. Open positions remain throughout the organization. Recruitment is in progress. I've been told that hiring has picked up this year. Shaban Foster, our CEO, stated that we are filling positions, but there's still more to go. In addition, golf maintenance positions were displaced after golf maintenance was outsourced last year. These positions remain on budget in GRF for 2025 because it wasn't a done deal at the time we prepared the budget in September, but it was a done deal by year end. So those people that were displaced were utilized in other departments affecting the housing mutuals. Materials and supplies was favorable by $127,000, primarily due to the timing of material purchases compared to the budget spread in information services and recreation. And this covered stuff such as personal computer replacements, monitor replacements, horse shavings, horse feed, and the like. Now, on the unfavorable side, cost allocations were unfavorable by $200,000 due to less expense allocated to departments, as GRF is running a favorable variance through April. It's a mathematical, complicated system, or the way we handle variances here. One side goes down, the other side goes up. So it's something we hope will work itself out by year end. Now, broadband services was unfavorable by $249,000, primarily due to revenue for set-top boxes being lower than anticipated, as streaming becomes more popular in the community. Furthermore, clients are allocating more money towards other digital platforms that provide advertising metrics. We're staying on top of that. That is a growth item, but in a transition period like we're in, we're taking some hits. Let's go on to slide 4. This circular slide shows sources of revenue other than the assessment, such as fees and rentals. This stuff doesn't really change much over time. Year to date, we earned $3.6 million in non-assessment operating fund revenue, as shown in the pie chart. We can see that our largest revenue category is broadband services, and there are a bunch of things in there, followed by golf revenue, other revenue, which includes class fees, electric vehicle charging revenue, additional occupant fees, equestrian center fees, and RV storage fees, among others. So it's a melange of things. Clubhouse rentals and event fees and merchandise sales. These revenue categories offset costs and help keep assessments down. And we make certain assumptions when we budget for them, and timing differences can enter into that. Let's go on to slide 5. Consistent with prior months, our largest operating fund expense is comp, followed by cable programming and franchise fees expense. Of the $14.9 million, excluding depreciation, these two categories account for 66% or 2/3 of total operating expense. Insurance, outside services, professional and legal, utilities, and fuel make up the remaining 34%. Next slide covers the reserve and restricted funds adjusted balances. Starting with the first column on the left, reserve funds have a combined ending balance of $44.7 million. Restricted fund balances have an ending balance of $2.8 million. Included in these totals are contributions received in 2025 through assessments, trust facility fees, and investment earnings. The trust facility fees, to remind everyone, is currently the $7,500 charge that is made when we have a resale that applies. And when we budget roughly 660 of those a year, but they don't necessarily happen the way we budget based on market conditions. So it's another source of variability. Investment earnings, we've been lucky in that rates have stayed up, very up from what it was just a couple years ago. It's around 4% right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to go down soon. So that's an important source of money we earn on the reserve funds that we have to keep in the bank. The second column shows the work in process of $11.8 million for reserve and $0 for restricted, reflecting the amounts paid for projects not yet completed. Now, what that means is those projects, many of them will be completed, and that will cause the third column represents resulting adjusted fund balances of $32.9 million for reserves and $2.8 million for restricted. So those balances are going to be impacted as we eat into completing the open projects. Let's go on to slide 7. This slide shows resale history from 2023 to 2025. Community-wide sales total $239 year to date. So basically on $660 a year, which is $330, we're not far off out of trend, and these things never follow each other exactly every year. It depends on the local market. But most of these, per our policy, generate the $7,500 trust transfer fee. Next slide is slide 8. The listing on this slide gives you an idea where the reserve money is committed. Of the $29.7 million appropriated by the board for various projects and equipment purchases, the remaining encumbrance against our reserves funds is $19.8 million, primarily for vehicles and renovation projects. Encumbrance just means it's been appropriated, but we don't spend money unless it's justified. So many of these projects we will spend money on, but some of them, and we're looking at that right now, we think we can cut back or eliminate entirely out of prudence and the need to conserve cash. Next, we'll go on to slide 9, which compares our adjusted fund balances to historical balances of the 5 years on this next chart, which shows that GRF has averaged $31.2 million in reserve funds and $2.8 million in contingency funds. However, because of the broadband project that we just approved and ongoing uses of encumbered items, our future reserve balances will not be like what we've seen. And so they're going to be impacted by these things, and we are working to make sure that we have adequate reserve fund balances, albeit they're going to be lower. All right. And I think that wraps up my report. Thank you.
Chair? Oh, there we go. I have questions for Andy.
Sure.
Can I ask him
Yeah,
some
go ahead.
questions? Okay. Let's see. Slide 1, why did you think, are we worse? I'm confused. Where are we sitting as far as the budget? Is it 939 negative or 243? I'm just confused by slide 1.
Okay, Ellen, good question, and that, I was confused too when I first came on board. We actually have two levels of reporting. One of them is combined, where we report reserves, and the second one is where we break out operating from reserves. And so they're two different amounts.
Okay.
So one is consolidated, one is
Okay.
broken
Which
out.
one was the operating that we were behind?
Yeah.
243? I'm
That's what it
sorry.
says. I don't have the slide in front of me.
Okay, that's okay.
I will check it out.
Okay, slide number 1, okay, that was slide, what were we expecting on non-assessment revenue? What were we expecting that we didn't get?
Well, for one thing, I can tell you that, and I don't have it in front of me, but golf fees, because of the weather, have been lower. And that's a tough one.
Okay.
We also backload the golf fees to some degree. There are a lot of things in non-assessment revenue. I don't have the detailed sheet here.
Okay.
There's probably 30 items
Yeah.
in there. But I can tell you from past experience, it's typically, part of it's timing, and part of it's due to the weather and other factors.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you on that one. I just made notes, a couple of notes, so.
Okay.
On the slide number 6, the balance of the equipment fund, the facility fund, trust facility fee fund. Open projects, is the fiber included in this work in progress?
What was that
The
again?
fiber, the broadband, is that included in the work in progress?
No.
No?
Well, we haven't really spent anything.
Okay.
We approved $7 million for this year, roughly, and we just had a drawdown of it, and then we'll be paying Martin $900 per installation as it rolls along. So there's a couple $100,000 for studies and that sort of thing in the budget prior to this, but no.
Okay.
So it's
That's coming?
It's coming, yes.
Like next month?
Well, we're already starting to install stuff. Go ahead.
We should see in the next month that 25% payout that was given.
Yeah, we have and we just approved the.
Part of the
so it's
contract.
$7 million coming in.
Okay.
And that's one reason why it's going to stress the reserve balances, which are.
It certainly is.
Much larger right now, but timing is everything. And in the budget process, we're working very diligently to prudently increase our cash flow so that we have, prudently speaking, enough money. We'll never get to the point where we don't have money. We'll always have money to pay what we need. Some people might be uncomfortable by the fact that the balances will dip. But again, we're aware of what would happen is if something a major expense happened, some disaster, whatever, and we have insurance for that, would cause us to have to spend a lot of money when we didn't expect to. And so it's very remote. So what we're trying to do is make sure we have adequate balances in our reserve funds so that we have the money to pay when needed plus. We always have a cushion in there because things happen.
Okay.
But as far as a major thing, taking it all down, it's unlikely.
Okay. I have one more question, because I had a
Go ahead.
series of questions. So fund encumbrances, which is slide 8, can we, the encumbrances being an appropriation, like you explained, can we change some of these appropriations for 2025?
We sure can, and in fact, some of us have met with the M&C chairman especially, and we've got a list from the finance area here on VMS. We got a list of encumbrances, and we're going line by line and looking. But these things were put on the list for a reason, and they were a resolution approved them to be put on the list. As I said earlier, we look at stuff before we actually spend the money, so it has to be justified to release money on it. So there's a place in the budget for it for a reason. And so now we're messing with stuff that was put in the budget for a reason. I have to make really sure that we can defer items or get rid of items. And we think it's significant money, and we have to do it, and we're going to do it. The list is out right now. We're looking at it. And once we get it finalized, we have to bounce it off the VMS people, because we don't know where things stand. We're not up every day. We don't know what's been committed. So you can't say, stop doing this, and we've already signed a contract. But our info system doesn't tell us that. So first things first, get the list, then go to finance and find out what we could change. And that's what we're doing.
So we want everybody to know that we're working hard on trimming maybe the 25 budget and working hard on the future budget for 26.
Yeah, two things. And one is really looking at how we spend money, and there are actually better ways to spend money. Sometimes, for example, and I could defer to Director Leonard on this, but as we transition over to electric vehicles, there are opportunities that weren't obvious when we made the budget a couple of years ago. So there may be things in there that lend themselves to the change in focus. Instead of buying what they call ICE, internal combustion engine, you buy electric. And electric has a lot of benefits, lower maintenance in many cases on certain items. So we look at that, we try to spend the money better, but if we find that we don't really need to spend it, we'll cancel it. And we did that a couple months ago. I think we defunded roughly $600,000.
That's what I wanted.
So that's an ongoing process, and we'll keep
It's like
doing
around
it.
over $500,000 that
Yeah. But beyond that, what we're trying to do also is defer the 26 and 27 spending beyond those periods. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind that our reserves are also measured against a theoretical model that says what we ultimately have to spend. But the fact that it says we have to eventually replace $100 million in equipment, it's done over 20 years. So you don't need $100 million next year. You need what needs to be replaced. So we're having our reserve analyst, who's coming out for an on-site visit this year, which is a different level of analysis. It's much deeper. We're asking our analysis person to consider changes that have occurred. For example, Building E. There are a lot of ways to handle the Building E situation that don't involve spending $8 million, which was in the old reserve study. So if we don't have to spend it, we take it out of the denominator, and that improves our percentage. In addition, it also takes it out of the year that we have to handle it. Now, Building E happens to be a hot item. We have to deal with it. But since we looked at it in the budget several years ago, a number of ways of handling it, including continuing to lease space outside or renovating what we have, promise to have much lower cost to the residents. And that's what we're about, getting the best bang for the buck. So yes, we're looking at the reserve balances as to adequacy and prudency. All right?
Thank you. Thank you. Martin, you had a question?
I just wanted, regarding the broadband, we took a 25% payout initially for them to order material and to get mobilized. But then thereafter, staff did a great job in the negotiation with TBG and Ting to string out how this thing is going to be paid over the next year and a half, that, we're going to see that we're going to be able to make it, I believe.
Thank you.
That being said, there are some changes. This is a transition period, and what we found is that our revenue streams that we had from West Coast Video, et cetera, are changed, and they're down. So in the interim, we're going to have a little bit of a challenge in getting additional revenue.
Yeah, 26 is
And
going
you're
to be,
aware of it.
after 26, it's going to be a challenge. We have to be creative.
Right, all right.
Okay. Next is.
One more point.
Oh, sorry.
Right, one more.
Go ahead.
You know, on slide number 7, there is some good news in this, and that is that our average sales price continues to rise. If you caught the OC register over the weekend, but in the statewide, the prices of home sales is down about 8-9%. But we are bucking the trend, as you can see from our average price. It's actually continuing to go up. Also, the number of sales continues to be relatively robust compared to the rest of the state and compared to the rest of Orange County. So again, people come here because they get tremendous value here, not only in the housing, but in all the amenities. So good news is right there in the numbers on the chart. That's it for me.
And that's why it's important to keep a look at the place.
You
Good.
betcha. Right.
The place has to look good, and we owe it to our residents to have a great-looking village. So nothing is free.
And we experienced it yesterday. Correct? Yes. All right, next is CSE and Ellen Lennon, please.
Okay. We had our meeting on May 8th, and we had a lot of discussion about the recreation policy, about the bocce courts again, and about the dog licensing. And there's a lot of decisions being made on some of the facilities. So if you'd like to attend, the next meeting is June 12th at 1:30 in the boardroom.
Director Prater, did you have something to say?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had a finance question, if I can go back. I didn't have my hand up in time. Ting is starting this great internet thing that we're going to do in the fiber optics, and I'm excited about it. When this pattern starts going and the new fees that we'll be paying for the new services through Ting, for all of our services with the estimated $40 a month fee, when will this transaction take place on the people that are doing it now versus coming in?
Martin, one second.
We're not going to feel the Ting fees until January of 27.
Oh, great.
Okay, and as same thing with the DirecTV fee, won't be felt until then. The services, I think, will come a little early.
Right.
I can't tell you.
The sections and phases,
Yeah,
yes.
depending
Good.
upon your and
Yeah.
and as well as the Ting Mobile is
Right.
becoming available. People are getting in there for that, but no. Again, staff did a great job in negotiation with respect to making sure that, we can handle this transition between West Coast
So
and
it's just
Ting.
going to all happen at one time for
Yeah.
everybody?
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So next is the report of Landscape Committee. Director Reinhardt, are you still here? I see you.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
The
thank you.
Landscape Committee, we didn't have a formal public meeting in May. I had to cancel that for a conflict, but we did have a quick meeting to approve some funding for some emergency landscape requirements. The Landscape Committee is, again, as part of the look at reviewing what we spend, has looked at reducing some spend for 2025 and 2026 to help facilitate the large expenditure for the Ting Industries projects. For an example, we did have a initial budget of $190,000 to rework landscaping for Clubhouse 4. We've reduced that down to probably going to be what's more like a $30,000 to $40,000 spend. And then we're also going to become I would call it more reactive versus proactive in our spend, and that we're going to repair things as they become an issue, as opposed to working off a routine structure to go in and do things. The exceptions to that would obviously be the mowing of landscaping, the trimming of trees, and then slope maintenance to avoid any potential damage. The landscape committee only meets quarterly, so our next meeting isn't until August, I believe. Thank you.
Since you're already online and talking to us, would you like to continue and talk to us about the MNC?
Absolutely. M&C is really more of the same now. The M&C committee meets every other month, although I do communicate with Manuel frequently as issues come up. It's another area where we're taking an aggressive look at what's budgeted for 25 and 26 to see where we can make some cutbacks. We do have a tour scheduled for the GRF staff and the presidents of United and Third to join us for June 6th, and I think the other date is June 19th, to take a
16th, I
physical
think.
look at every single community property that we have and discuss what we have planned and what we think we can defer. Again, I think we're really trying to protect our reserves the best that we can, and we're going to do that through reduced expenditures and be more reactive as opposed to proactive on what we actually spend money on. So the next meeting for the M&C committee is going to be June 11th, which is next week. Secondary to that, there is an energy ad hoc committee. Director Durst, I don't believe, is here today. So I'll just address that briefly. We're looking at really two initiatives there. We're looking at installing EV charging. The reality is that United and Third have very limited electrical capacity to be able to install a lot of charging in their HOA facilities. So we're looking at trying to help bridge the gap between now and when we have an extensive amount of EV chargers by taking advantage of California programs to install electrical vehicle charging at different clubhouses. We just got approval from the state of California, which will fund $8,500 per charger head for 5 locations within the village. I think it's Clubhouse 1, 2, 5, Equestrian Center, and Clubhouse 7. The advantage of the Equestrian Center and Clubhouse 7 is that they are open to the public, so we could provide charging for public there. There's absolutely no requirement to let the public inside the gates to use chargers that we install in our community areas. The second thing we're looking at is solar energy. The bill for our electric use for the GRF facilities is of $1.5 million annually. So we're looking at where we can install solar. Now that is projects that we will have to either cautiously approach and do a little bit over time, maybe look at a PPA, which is a power purchase agreement. But the reality is we're not gonna be able to spend that money for a couple years because we don't want to deplete the reserves, and Ting project is going to take up most of our available capital during the next 2 years. But those are the two areas that we're looking at pretty aggressively. And then the last thing is the space planning, which I'll let Allison address. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Reinhardt. Appreciate all the information. The next item is report of the Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee, Director Bach, but I can give you some more information because...
I'm not the chair. I don't know
No,
why.
it's not the part of that because I had communication with the MNC department in the last 2-3 days that our next meeting is going to be on June 30th and at 9:30 in the morning. And the consultant Cardozo will be attending, and we will get an update on whatever his findings are at that time. So if you have anything else to add to it, then
We haven't met.
it's okay. So that's all I have for the space planning. And next item is the report of the Broadband Committee. Director Rosa.
Thank you, Chairman President. The committee met on closed session on April 21, and our next meeting will occur in an open session here in the board now that we have a contract, so that we encourage everybody that has questions to attend, where we'll have the meeting is going to be sometime in late June. We haven't got a specific date yet. Going to be encompassing media as well. But I know that it's going to be after the Ting rollout, which I believe is tomorrow afternoon here in the boardroom. I believe that to be the
Only
date.
by invitation.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the report on the broadband.
Thank you. Next item is report of the Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Director Motwani.
The one I have is for the Energy Ad Hoc Committee. Sorry. I think Gary had been sending some emails regarding the usage of the trucks and vehicles. I didn't bring that data with me, so I don't have anything to add right now.
Okay, the next meeting is on August 6, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom.
Okay.
Thank you. Report of the Security and Community Access Committee. Director Grathofer.
We did not have a meeting last month. We will have a meeting this month, and it is going to be on June 25th at 1:30 here in the boardroom. And we'll discuss some things of great interest, like how many gates we have broken and why. Yeah, we keep running into those, and we'll also discuss a little bit of that at the closed meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of the Laguna Woods Village traffic hearing. Director Ellen.
Okay, that's me. We had our hearings on May 21st. These are closed. Only if you've had a violation can you come to the hearing when you're called in. The next hearing is June 18th, and fines have tripled, and maybe even more. Okay, quadrupled, couple 100% up. $200 fine for a stop sign. And if you had one ticket yesterday and you get a ticket next week, it'll be $300 for the second violation. So pay attention, and also pay attention to your speed. Okay, thank you.
All right. Executive Member Hearing Committee. Director Bach.
Well, like the traffic hearings, executive hearings are only open by invitation. Believe me, you do not want to be invited because it means you've done something naughty or potentially naughty. So anyway, we're meeting on Thursday. We have very, very few cases, thank goodness. We're a very well-behaved community, but the committee does continue to meet monthly. And once in a while, I think we've had a month off because there wasn't a case. So that's it.
Okay. Report of the Disaster Preparedness Task Force. Director Rosa.
Thank you. In your packet is the minutes to the March meeting, but we did also have a meeting last week as well with disaster preparedness, and Chief Nunez was not in attendance, but it was a good meeting in the sense that we talked a bit more about the gap analysis program that we got to work with the city to figure out what our changes need to be done for our emergency operations plan that coincides with the city as well as the county. And we're also looking at, I know that there was a report on the antenna installations, and we're looking at a review of the radio system that we currently have for the security to see perhaps what, I want to make sure that everything is diversified, routed from the amateur radio system. And there was talk about some additional, some emergency management software called D4H that I have Chuck Holland taking a look at. And anyways, yeah, our next meeting for the disaster preparedness will be, like I said, we met on May 27th. We'll be meeting on July 29th. And we're looking for more block captains and cul-de-sac captains, people to come forth to help us to be a part of the team that we need. Yes, question?
Ham radio people. You know, when I go to Clubhouse One, I pass the ham radio room. That's kind of neat. I remember from my childhood, ham radio. How does the ham radio operation here fit in with disaster preparedness?
As it's only for a backup system.
Okay.
The primary system will be, of course, our security system, but the amateur radio operations they can be effective for the people that they're in contact with at the clubhouses in the event of a disaster. Security, of course, has their radio system and they would be working with, Orange County Sheriff. But it's so many disasters that have occurred across the country that the only thing that was standing was the amateur radio system.
Right.
And that the cell system was down, the public safety radio system was down, and the amateur radio actually was able to get information from county to county to be able to get assistance where it's needed. So it's definitely a good backup system, and that's all it is.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so where are we? Next item is Information Technology Advisory Committee. Director Rosa?
Yes, we had a meeting last week, and it's a closed meeting, and our next meeting is not June 27th, but it's July 25th. Please make a note, staff, to change that date. I should have caught that in the minutes or the agenda, but yeah, July 25th at 1:30 will be our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we come to the end of all our committee reports. Yes?
And I want to ask this, Catherine. GRF is having a board budget workshop on June 11th. Is that an open meeting?
I'd have to double.
It really can't tell from the notification.
I'll have to double check because I wasn't aware of that meeting. So let me double check and I'll let the board know.
Okay, because if it is, then, everyone's invited. All right, thank you.
Okay. With that, we come to the end of all the committee reports, future agenda items, all matters listed under the future agenda, blah, blah. Anyway, next item is a recess for lunch.
Director's comments.
Director's comments. I will start from that end. Mr. Motwani, do you have any comments? Sorry? No. Okay. Ms. Collins?
I wanted to thank Andy for all the extra work you've been doing on this budget and finding, where we have money that's been allocated previously, but not yet using it, so that we can now look into it, because this next year is not your normal year. We need to find every way we can to save money. Thanks.
Thank you.
No comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Andy?
No comment.
Thank you. Ms. Director Rosa? Director Gathoff?
Just want to back what Marie just said. We really have a tough year ahead of us. We need to keep the reserves well above what the projection was from Steve in accounting, getting down to $3 million. I think with reasonable cuts and delays, we can keep it well above 10 million by the end of '26. So that nightmare will not happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Director Leonard.
So I would like to inform everyone that today is National Egg Day.
National what?
Egg.
Egg.
It is also National Chocolate Macaroon Day. And last but not least, it is National Repeat Day. So take the opportunity to do the things you enjoy twice over on Repeat Day. Have the same meal for lunch and dinner, or revisit memory-filled locations from your past.
Can you repeat that?
Oh, you're so clever.
Okay, with that, we will break for recess and continue in the Willow Room for our closed session.
President Bada, what time would you like to commence closed session? Right now it's
It's
11:40.
11:39, 12:15. All right. See you upstairs, guys.